It's a first visit for us and for Dubai Racing Channel cameras to the yard of Ian Williams, who of course has had plenty of success over in Dubai in the past. Hopefully today we'll find out a few clues as to what he intends to bring over to Meydan next season. Well, many thanks for letting us come along today, Ian. First of all, most impressed with the facilities. Tell us about this place and how you've built it up over the years.
We've been here best part of 20 years now, and when I started I met my landlord Patrick Kelly, and he said, if you have the success, Ian, I'll build the facilities you need, and to be fair, that's exactly what he's done. And you probably noticed as you came in the drive, the sort of final phase has been the trainer's house and the owner's accommodation that we hope to have for the future, which will be completed probably in next summer.
Very nice indeed. And for people who perhaps don't know, because they've just seen you at the Carnival, you are very much a dual purpose trainer. What challenges do that bring, if any? Is it a bit difficult?
I think it's challenging to the team, probably challenging to my family as well, because what it does mean is that it's 12 months of the year. We're busy during the summer with the flat team, we're busy during the winter with the national hunt team, and we enjoy our little forays to Dubai, which puts pressure on everybody, and doesn't leave an awful lot of time for holidays and looking after everybody I should be looking after.
And you'll probably shy away from the description, but you're one of the best dual-purpose trainers that we've got here. You must be delighted how it's worked out, certainly the last couple of seasons.
There's some very good trainers that are capable of doing both codes, but the last couple of years have been very, very good to us. We've managed to get some quality horses. It's been great to go to Dubai and win races there. It's been great to have a Cheltenham Festival winner. It's been great, the success we've had this season on the flat. It's probably our best year to date. I think we've won over £500,000 in prize money. Speedo Boy was in France and he won a listed race. We've done some other bits and bobs in France, and we've had a great time in Dubai. So this year's been a fantastic year for us.
I think 42 winners on the flat this year?
42 on the flat this year, and we were desperate to get to the $500,000. London prize in the Cesarewitch earlier in the year, I thought he just might click us over that. His second was fantastic, but it would have been wonderful to win. But Roger Charlton, being a very good flat trainer, managed to find one that was slow enough and could gallop for long enough to beat him. So it was a great result to finish second, but would dearly love to have won that race.
How difficult is it when you've got a horse who's effective over hurdles, effective on the flat? Is there anything different you need to do in their preparation when you're switching codes with them?
Obviously, predominantly horses need to be fit. So there's quite a... Horses need to be fitter national hunt racing than they do flat racing. They can get away with not being quite as sharp flat racing, shall we say, or not as fit. But ultimately, if you've got a fit and healthy horse that has attributes of galloping, has the physique that's able to jump.
And when you're sort of preparing your team in the mornings, obviously we've seen them out on the gallops, they all kind of go together, the chasers and the flat horses?
They go together, but you have to treat each horse as an individual ultimately, and some horses will take more work than others. A 16-3 brute of a horse is going to take far more work than a 2-year-old filly that's not eating very well. So the work is tailored in my own mind around what the horse can and can't do and what the horse requires. And as much as I can push them, I will push them, but it depends totally on the individual horse, and there's no hard and fast, this is what we do with our horses. Everything's treated individually and on a daily basis as well. If a horse doesn't eat well on a Wednesday after it's worked, then we might not work it for another fortnight or 10 days until it's right back on its grub and it's doing the way we want to. But it's just about knowing the horses, getting the feedback from the staff, getting the feedback from the head lad or my assistants, and just actually putting all of that into place and doing the right thing for the individual.
I suppose you're aided in that you've got your own facility here. You can train whenever, however you like, but you're very, very much on your own up here. You're not in a big training centre. Does that present any problems, or indeed is it an advantage?
I don't think it presents any problems. We have great veterinary coverage. Buffy Shirley Bevan and her team look after our horses very well. We have our own transport. Sometimes you haven't got the facility of having a huge transport depot next to you like you would do in Newmarket. And I think it's probably a little bit nicer for our staff because they're very close to the urbanisation that is Birmingham. But we're in the country. It's a huge benefit to me because I haven't got everybody looking over my shoulder and I'm not looking over everybody else's shoulder seeing what they're doing. We do our own thing and we don't have any outside interference when we're doing that.
Talk a bit more about Dubai because you've been very successful there. Any other horses sort of penciled in for next year's Carnival?
Well, we'll definitely bring Sir Max back. He's done very well while he's been out there, and specifically this year we've trained him with Dubai in mind. In previous years he's come back and run at Ascot or run here and then we've given him a break, but this year he came back from Dubai and he was given a break. He had a few niggly little problems which probably stopped him being at his best this year, so we decided we'll get him back, treat him as though all we were going to do with him the following year was Dubai. So he came back into work 2 weeks ago. He'll have one run hopefully here, probably at Wolverhampton or Lingfield prior to departure, and then we'll see him in Dubai for the first meeting, and hopefully he'll be there in good shape.
I think it'd be his 5th Carnival perhaps?
Be his 4th.
Wow. And you feel, say you obviously haven't run him recently, but he should be just as competitive as before if he's over his issues?
I think he was very competitive last year and there's no reason why he shouldn't be this year. Probably be a few pounds lower in the handicap, which will help, but those sprinters, they seem to go on forever, and the older sprinters do seem to be able to go back year after year and reproduce their form when everything falls right.
And any others? You mentioned perhaps Banditry is one you might
consider?
Perhaps
Banditry, he's been running, he started back over hurdles and won recently over hurdles. He'll have another run over hurdles, and what I wouldn't want to do is hold him up in this country over hurdles when there's a decent chance of him performing on the flat in Dubai. So we'll judge that one over the next 2 or 3 months. Shady McCoy's done extremely well on the turf here in his last 2 runs. He's got up to a mark of 99, which means 1, he qualifies should they allow him to go, and 2, he'd probably give the owners quite a bit of fun if he was out there. There's 3 or 4 races for him. So we've got a few to go with this year.
You're obviously very international in how you look sort of at everything. You mentioned runners in France. Is it more a sort of financial game or is it about the fun for your owners sending horses abroad?
I think it's a combination of all things. We've been fortunate over the years. We've managed to have runners in St Moritz during the winter, which is great fun, but unfortunately the complication of Dubai, it all falls around the same time, so we probably don't pay as much attention to that as we have done. But one of my favourite trips for the owners and for myself, and a great challenge was the Melbourne Cup when we took Munsef down there 8 or 9 years ago. Now the race has probably changed or has changed considerably since then, and the quality of horses going is much better. I think Munsef was beaten 6.5 lengths into 11th, and prize money was down to 10th, so it was an expensive trip for Dr. Marwan Kukash, but it was a huge trip, and I'd love to go back again, but go back with something that was really going to be competitive. My travelling head girl, Dawn, who's always seen with Max in Dubai, she does such a wonderful job with the horses while they're away, and it means that on one of those missions, as we sometimes refer to them, she will cover everything I need to do in my absence, so I don't ever shy away from sending something to somewhere like Melbourne if the horse is good enough.
Away from the Melbourne Cup, you've obviously got a lot more races to choose from than most trainers. Is there one race you particularly want to win?
Is there one race I particularly want to win? I'd love to win a champion hurdle, but probably the race I'd love to win most, and we have to be realistic, I don't think we're ever going to win the Derby because we don't have that sort of stock. If we could win the Cheltenham Gold Cup, I was being fortunate enough to work for Jenny Pittman and Francois Doom, and when we've had winners of that race, it'd be a real achievement to win that race.
You've had a Cheltenham Festival winner. Was that one of the highlights of your career so far? Must be.
Without a shadow of a doubt, because we had to wait quite a long time, and we had lots of placed horses, lots of near misses, and you start to get frustrated and think, is it going to happen? Is it? We were having winners in Dubai and we weren't able to win at the Cheltenham Festival. We were taking horses to Melbourne. We were having really nice flat winners. We're winning listed races. Our best steeplechase we probably run was in France when Batman Sonora years ago won the equivalent of the King George, and he actually finished second in the French Gold Cup. But having a horse of that quality has just eluded us for the English Gold Cup. But yeah, hopefully one day.
Looking ahead to the next few years, obviously keep on doing what you're doing, try and perhaps up the quality a little bit.
Yeah, I think if you speak to any racehorse trainer, they want to up the quality of what they're doing. You know, if you up the quality, the returns are far better. It's far more interesting for the owners. It's far more fun for the team. So we want to keep improving the quality, but the flat racing has allowed us to do that with our jumping team, and they work so well in harmony with one another. Maybe not for the 2-year-olds, but for the older horses, the jumping and the flat racing are just so useful to one another that it works well for us, and hopefully we'll keep improving the quality of the team.
Can you choose between them? Do you have a favourite between the flat and the jumps?
That's actually too easy. I much prefer the jumping. I don't dislike the flat racing, and we have some great times and are involved with some great people, and we enjoy some moments. Dubai, as we've said, Melbourne, all those issues. The international side of flat racing in general is great fun, but there's still nothing like being at the Cheltenham Festival, getting soaking wet, freezing cold, and having something to cheer about stood on the lawn. It's what I grew up with. It's probably, having worked with the national hunt trainers that I worked with, it's what I've always enjoyed. So it's something that's still, you know, big in my heart.
And this picture sums it up very well.
Yeah, I think that probably sums it up. A few more days like that wouldn't go amiss.